present at the Rowita Awards, I believe, when
Couple of them.
Debbie McDade got her award.
Yes.
Yes, and that was quite exciting and historic for us. And that's one of the reasons the idea came to several heads is she was such a jazz singer in her time.
Beautiful.
That we should bring it forward and bring it back to St. Augustine. But before we get to that, I'll remind you about Debbie McDade. Your muse happens to be music and jazz. Why is that? Why is music important to you?
It started when I was a kid with my parents singing around the house, playing the piano, and I got into the band in school, and I just love it. Of course, I also realized by the time I got to college that I could never make a living at it. So I went ahead and got a real job, and I practiced accounting for 35 years instead of piano.
Well, where does jazz fit into that?
Well, I played in a jazz band in college, and I learned to love jazz from my father, and a lot of other kind of music from my father. But I also discovered Latin jazz when I was a teen. Sergio Mendes and Brazil 66, and those kind of things. So it's like, oh, this is good stuff. And then Steely Dan turned it into rock and roll, and I just loved all that stuff. I got into a jazz band with my college roommate, and we had a lot of fun with that, but we didn't make any money.
Yeah. Well, now you've heard some of Debbie McDade's music, the wonderful woman we're going to portray in a musical about her. You've listened to it. What about her sound and her style? Have you heard that before, or what do you think about it?
I've heard similar singers, but she's got such a pure tone. It's just so sweet to listen to, and yet she can twist it a little bit. So it's pretty cool. I really enjoy her stuff. And I'm so proud that she's from our neighborhood here in Lincolnville.
Okay, you're from the Lincolnville area. Well, how important is jazz music coming back to this area? It's all around us, but it's not here.
Well, Washington Street, I live right around the corner from Washington Street, used to be a hotbed of jazz with nightclubs and all kinds of different places going on there. I mean, Ray Charles used to sneak over there from school when he was underage to perform in the jazz bars. Debbie McDade would play there. We still have a bunch of really good musicians in the Lincolnville area, but there's no place for them to perform. That's a problem with all of St. Augustine. There's not enough performance venues for all the talent that we have here, but particularly in Lincolnville, because Lincolnville has no more commercial space. It's all been zoned residential. So I miss that. I would love to see things like the Lincolnville Festival, which is wonderful, keep going and bring back that spirit, at least for a week every year, and then maybe we can get things rezoned and actually put up some of those wonderful places again. There's talk about it. We got to keep the talk up.
So we're bringing the musical to the Lincolville Museum Cultural Center. It'll be the first time a performance has been done in this area. What do you think about that, and how can we get the people interested to come out here to see what Debbie was all about back in her day in the 50s and 60s?
Well, this is an incredible space. It's really well maintained and not used. It's just an amazing place. It was used for the school district for part of the building. It used to be a beautiful school, the Excelsior School. And Otis Mason, who was the principal of that school, still has his Lincolnville Museum downstairs. It's just a wonderful thing to see this beautiful building well maintained over the years, but unused. So I'm so delighted that you guys are going to use it, and let's show it off and get more and more use out of it. It is a residential area, but there's plenty of parking around here. It's great. I love Lincolnville. It is just a nice, family-oriented neighborhood. It's just great.
And restaurants are popping up.
Yes, we've got a couple of them coming along, and we've got a huge bar right down the street in the ice plant. That's very popular, and upscale. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. So yeah, we're a few blocks from the historic district, a 5-minute walk. I just walked from my house 5 minutes from here. I'm right on the line with the historic district.
Give us your last thoughts on Debbie McDade, the jazz singer from Lincolnville, St. Augustine.
I'm so glad that you and your crew are bringing this to light, because jazz is still a vibrant art, and we don't have as many new representatives to carry it on, but remembering the old representatives like Debbie, it's critical to do that. It will inspire more people to still love it, and maybe some more musicians to take it up. People still use jazz in music, but it's not as popular as it was on its own. And I'd like to see more and more of things like remembering these strong, wonderful artists like Debbie McDade.
I get a feeling.
What kind of feeling you got, baby?